Hello, everybody. Mayor Buckley here again this evening. Approximately 7 p.m. I'm here in the mayor's office. Tim's with me again this evening. And I want to give you an update on several things that are going on in the city. First of all, for those of you who live on Buffalo Street between 5th and 7th, you have already started to see some equipment mobilize, and we are getting ready to make some storm drainage repairs in that area. This is long overdue, so we are looking forward to that. And then we will follow that up with paving sometime in July. So they mobilized today and they will begin work probably Thursday. So I wanted to pass that on to you. The roundabout at Churchman Bypass in Arlington continues. Reith Riley is the general contractor for that, and they are moving fast and they are doing excellent work. I suspect that the roundabout will be open to traffic probably by the end of July. And I want to pass on, not only are we improving the traffic flow out there, part of this project was to improve drainage in that area. And as part of this project, we have spent $227,900 on drainage improvements throughout this intersection. So we are really looking forward to that. A couple days ago, I sent a letter to the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission concerning public utilities wanting to raise their rates to offset losses caused by the COVID-19 virus. And I would like to read this to you this evening. Dear Commission, I have had several citizens approach me concerned about public utilities asking for a rate increase due to the losses incurred from COVID-19 virus. These same citizens have also suffered their own personal loss over the past 4 months due to the COVID-19 virus. On behalf of the citizens of Beech Grove, I ask that you vote to deny any increase from any public utility that may be presented to you as a result of the COVID-19 virus. Thank you for your time and consideration. I wanted to share that with you this evening. A couple of weeks ago, we had a primary election, and as part of the election, we had the schools referendum. Question 1 and question 2, as you know, they both passed, and the superintendent, myself, police chief, we have already met to discuss the school police. And what we're going to do is one officer will remain at the Beech Grove High School, and then we will bring in 3 officers for the other buildings in the district. Sergeant Rinks, Nathan Rinks will be assigned to the school system, as is Mark Parker. So that leaves us one position to be filled, and the chief and his staff is working on that as we speak. So also as part of that program, the city has always had the crossing guards as part of its staple. Now those crossing guards will report to the school police officer who is in charge. So that is something that's going to be new this fall when students return to the classroom. I want to publicly thank Rob Chalice because the formula, he developed the formula that we are using to pay for the police. The police is going to pay for 70% of the total cost of the officer, and the city will pay 30%. That is fair because at least 70% of the time, the four officers will be dedicated to the school and not to the city of Beech Grove. So my hat's off to Rob. That was a really good calculation, and we all think it's appropriate, and that's what we have agreed to do. The trailhead at 16th and Albany, it's kind of stalled a little bit. What's happened is they had to order some limestone for the trailhead and the markings for that trailhead and some brick. So that's taken a little bit of time, more time than we thought. But I was told yesterday, I talked with the folks at Ton and Blank, and they are proceeding quickly to move on this project. So hopefully soon it will be wrapped up and we'll have a beautiful trailhead right there that will commemorate the old St. Francis Hospital. Several of you have called complaining about the bumpy road on Emerson Avenue in front of Long John Silver's. The road sustained a water leak which pushed the asphalt up, and now just today they have milled that area and they are getting ready to pave it. The water leak obviously has been fixed, but what I want to get across to you this evening is Emerson Avenue is one of about 5 roads that go through the city of Beech Grove, but they are not the responsibility of the city of Beech Grove. They are considered thoroughfares, and any road that starts in Indianapolis, comes through Beech Grove, and picks back up again in Indianapolis is considered a thoroughfare and is under the control of the city of Indianapolis. So obviously the water leak, it was the responsibility of Citizens Energy Group, but the road was the responsibility of the city of Indianapolis. And when you call out here, we will explain that to you. And then before I take a break, if you've driven past City Hall in the last week or two, you'll notice a couple changes. One, the old flagpole is gone. It broke. And we have a new beautiful flagpole that sits in the flower bed around the handicap ramp. And we have installed a new city administration sign. Both the flag and the sign was paid for by a non-for-profit civic group called Beautify Beech Grove. So we are very thankful for them for giving us those two gifts, and I think it makes the front of City Hall a little cleaner. So thank you. I'll be right back. I want to talk to you about COVID. I'm back for another segment, and I would like to talk to you about where we are with the COVID-19 virus and the steps we are taking as a city to keep you informed and to protect our employees. Before I start, I want to remind you that there are several scams out there where people are trying to take advantage of you. So don't ever give out any type of number for a card or anything to anyone over the phone. Please remember that the IRS will not call you. And the city of Beech Grove has not authorized anyone to collect money on our behalf. So please remember those items. Our clerk treasurer is Jim Kaufman, is compiling in receipts and copies of invoices that we have paid claims concerning this virus. And what we are going to do is we are going to seek reimbursement for all funds that we spent on this virus. We're not in any real hurry to do that because I hope the governor kind of loosens the rules a little bit and lets municipalities use this money to offset any type of budget loss. But I want to pass on tonight that the City of Beech Grove is putting together claims so that we can ask for reimbursement from the state of Indiana. The CARES Act is a $300 million program instituted by the state of Indiana, and each municipality is dedicated certain amount of funds, and it is all based on your population. So here's an example of why the census is so important and why you should participate in the census. We get reimbursement based on the number of people who live in our city. For those of you who would like to be tested for COVID, there is a testing location at 1030 North Arlington Avenue in Indianapolis, and the phone number is 1-888-634-1116. You just can't show up and get a test. You have to pre-register. So if you want to get tested for COVID, you can go to this location, 1030 North Arlington Avenue, and the phone number is 1-888-634-1116. The latest statistics on COVID as of this Sunday is that the state of Indiana had 42,423 confirmed cases. 2,350 Hoosiers died from COVID, and 411,920 people have been tested for the virus. In Marion County alone, 10,945 people have tested positive for COVID, and in Marion County, 668 citizens have died from the COVID virus. This is alarming to me because it doesn't seem that the numbers are decreasing as rapid as I thought they might, which causes me to pause. And I've always stated that I'm not in any real hurry to open up government because the virus is still out there. So what are we doing as a city with our departments? I want you to know that the police department and the fire department is back up and running at their capacity. DPW, effective July the 6th, will go back to normal schedule. However, we will not allow the general public to go out into the grounds and into the buildings. The Parks Department is open. I noticed yesterday kids were down there playing basketball, and shelter reservations have resumed. The Horner Park Community Center is only open for scheduled events. It's not open to where you can walk in and exercise or walk in and get on the computer. Angel hasn't got there yet, and with the numbers that I am seeing, I don't think we should be in any hurry to open that facility back up. The senior center remains closed. The director, Stephanie, has thrown around a couple of dates, July 1st or July 6th, but we have a department head meeting this Friday, and we're probably going to discuss this a little bit more because I think we should pull in the reins a little bit and take a step back and rethink this. City Hall remains closed to the public. I was going to open City Hall to normal business on July 6th, but I'm not really sure I'm going to do that. The staff is going to report every day beginning July 6th, but I'm not sure I'm ready for the general public to come in here, especially on the clerk side to where the exposure could be even greater. And before I take another break, I want to talk to you about the Fall Festival and the Fall Festival Parade. As you know, the fireworks for July 3rd have been postponed. Last Tuesday evening, I had a chance to spend some time with the Promoters Club at their monthly meeting. And I told them when I spoke with them that I think it would be a really good idea this year if you kind of not focus on the parade, focus on the festival. So in other words, I do not think that there should be a fall festival parade this year, simply because we cannot provide social distancing. There is a huge crowd that attends that event. So in all practical purposes, folks, there's not going to be a fall festival parade this year, nor will I authorize the Board of Public Works and Safety to close Main Street from 6th Avenue West during that time period as well. That was done for two reasons. Number one is COVID, and number two is the people who conduct business on Main Street. They have just opened up from being closed since the middle of March. So I don't want to go ahead and now they're up and running again and close Main Street again and put another whammy on them. So I'm very hesitant about doing that. So my thoughts on that were that I'm not going to recommend to the board that we do this. So I want Main Street to remain open. So I think that's probably how it's going to end. The Fall Festival is still being planned, but it is very, very questionable as to whether that event is going to happen. When I spoke to the Promoters Club, I'm trying to visualize how social distancing can be provided for people waiting in lines to ride a ride or get something to eat. And how is sterilization going to take place on rides when somebody rides and gets off and somebody gets on? I think it is very improbable that this event will happen in September. And I have had further communications with the Promoters Club since we've met, and even the carnival ride operator is having trouble finding workers for the carnival. So it hasn't been canceled as of yet, but I would venture to say that there is a 99.9% chance that we will not have a festival this September. We will just have to reconvene next year, and hopefully there will be a vaccine out and we can move on and back to our normal life. But I wanted to pass that information on to you because we are receiving calls about the fall festival. So I will be back for the final segment, and I want to talk about the police department, and I want to talk about holding people accountable. I'll be right back. I'm back for the final segment and some closing thoughts this evening. First of all, as we approach July 4th, the fireworks become very popular, and we get a lot of calls from people complaining about people shooting off fireworks. The state of Indiana passed a law stating that within a certain period of time before July the 4th, you are allowed to set off fireworks in a designated place up to 11 p.m. at night. Well, my personal opinion is that is a terrible law. I've always thought you should leave the fireworks to professionals, and obviously we're not having professional shoots this year. But anyway, the police are asking that you do not call 911 to report fireworks. And the closer we get to the actual holiday, you can call the non-emergency number 327-3811. But I got to tell you, there's a good chance, and it doesn't matter what police department it is, there is a good chance that the police officer will not respond to your complaint of fireworks. It's just overwhelming. But we also want to remind you that that is not the time to shoot off a gun in the air, pretending to be a firework. So I wanted to get that out to you tonight, that if you have any type of consideration for your neighbor, and especially for people who have pets, I would ask that you please put down the fireworks and silence your community. Also, July the 4th is a Saturday. So I want you to know that if you live in the city of Beech Grove and you generally get your trash picked up on Friday, it would be July the 3rd, Friday, the DPW will pick up your trash. We're not on a sliding schedule. Normal trash pickup is July the 3rd, Friday. So if you are one of those residents who generally get your trash picked up on Friday, we will pick your trash up on Friday as scheduled. I wanted to get that out to you tonight. That's very important. My background is public safety. And as most of you know, I was a firefighter for almost 30 years before I retired. So I have the utmost respect for the fire department and the police department. And I wanted to share with you a letter that I penned last weekend. And I sent it over to some local media outlets. And I sent it over to the police department earlier today. And it's titled, "I Support Our Police Department." With all of this civil unrest that we are witnessing, I want all of you to know that I'm 100% behind our police department. I will not support any defunding of our police department, and as a matter of fact, it is my intent to recommend to our Common Council that we increase funding for our police department in budget year 2021. So I want to tell all of you where I stand concerning our police department. We have to have a agency that keeps the peace. We cannot be a lawless society. It doesn't work. Now, having said that, I want all of you to know that I completely agree with the right to free speech. I think you have the right to speak your piece. And I think you have the right to assemble as free people to state your case unequivocally. But no one has the right to damage or destroy someone else's property. Any person who does that should be held accountable for their actions. It's pretty simple as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing wrong with voicing your opinion. There's nothing wrong with marching or gathering as a group to state your opinion. But no one has the right to damage or destroy someone else's property. And those who choose to do this should be held accountable for their actions. For the past 4 or 5 months, I have been working with our police administration, and especially now with what is taking place and what we are witnessing, I wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you. And I want you to know that your police department is doing everything they can to stay ahead of this process. The Beech Grove Police Department has already had their physical tactics training for the year, and they have recently mandated de-escalation training. Putting a person in a chokehold is not acceptable, and the Beech Grove Police Department does not do that. The Beech Grove Police Department is searching for other less lethal opportunities, such as Bola Wrap, and they are associated with a nationally known and respected policy review company called LexiPol. The Beech Grove Police Department is looking into working with the Guardian tracking system that will help with evaluations and keeps a record should we have incidents such as what happened where there could be a potential problem. It also will make it easier to recognize good work and helps in writing letters of commendation to reinforce the good work that the Beech Grove Police Department does. So we have not been sitting on our hands. I don't like what I watched on the television, and I want to make sure that we don't do that. So you are fortunate in the city of Beech Grove. You have an excellent police department. You have excellent leadership, and that plays out every single day. So I wanted to end with that, and I probably won't be back before July the 4th. So I wish all of you a happy and safe 4th of July, and remember, don't lose a 5th on the 4th. So I'll see you in a little bit.